Imagine for a moment that every limitation you feel about money is nothing but an illusion, a shadow on the wall of your mind, projected by years of doubt, fear, and conditioned beliefs. What if the reality you long for, the wealth, the ease, the freedom, is already available, waiting not in the distant future, but within your present state of consciousness? You see, the greatest deception most people live under is the belief that they have to wait for money to come before they can feel wealthy, before they can think abundantly, before they can live with the confidence of someone who already possesses riches. But this belief is precisely what keeps them trapped in lack. Money doesn't flow to those who beg for it. It flows to those who expect it, those who already feel aligned with its presence even when their bank account suggests otherwise. It's not about arrogance. It's not about pretending in the shallow sense of the word. It's about aligning your inner world so completely with the life you desire that reality has no choice but to conform. And here's the hidden truth. You are always living in alignment with something. For most, they align with scarcity, with fear, with waiting. And so life delivers more of the same. But when you understand the creative power within you, you stop waiting, you stop postponing joy, confidence, or boldness until the world gives you permission. You step into the feeling of wealth now, not tomorrow, not after the promotion, not after the sale, but now. You walk, speak, breathe, and carry yourself as though you already have it. And in doing so, you send a clear instruction to life. This is who I am. This is my state. This is my reality. Have you ever noticed how some people, even before they make it, carry themselves with an undeniable aura of success? It's not luck, it's not coincidence, it's the power of embodying the state ahead of time. They aren't faking confidence, they are dwelling in it. And money, opportunities, connections, they are drawn to that state like metal to a magnet. The world rearranges itself around their belief. But most people wait. They say, when I have money, I'll feel secure. When I have money, I'll start that business. When I have money, I'll walk with confidence. But they misunderstand the order of life. The security, the boldness, the action. It comes first. The money follows. The state precedes the manifestation. Always. So stop waiting. Stop living as if your desires are somewhere out there, beyond your reach, dangling like bait in front of you. The only thing separating you from wealth is your state, the inner acceptance of who you believe yourself to be. Shift that, and you shift everything. Act as if you have it now, not tomorrow, not when circumstances look better, but now. And watch how the world begins to bend, subtly at first, then unmistakably, to reflect the richness you've chosen to embody. Your inner state creates your financial reality. Everything you experience in your external world is a reflection of your inner state. This is not philosophy, it's a fundamental law of how reality unfolds. Look closely at your life, your finances, your circumstances. They are not random occurrences. They are mirrors held up by life itself, showing you the dominant patterns of thought, emotion, and belief you carry within. When it comes to money, the same principle applies. Your financial reality is a direct consequence of your inner relationship with abundance or lack. The majority of people misunderstand this relationship. They believe money will come first, and then their feelings of confidence, security, or freedom will follow. But the truth is inverted. It is your feelings, your assumptions, your inner dialogue about money that create the conditions for its arrival or its absence. If you habitually think of yourself as someone who lacks, struggles, or waits for wealth, you unconsciously reinforce those conditions, no matter how hard you work or how many opportunities present themselves. The world responds to the dominant vibration you emit, not your words alone, not your temporary actions, but the deep, consistent state you occupy. You cannot deceive life by pretending outwardly if inwardly you harbor fear, doubt, or scarcity. But when you genuinely shift your inner state, When you embody the feeling of wealth, success, and ease, the world begins to reflect that state back to you in surprising ways. Consider those who seem to effortlessly attract financial opportunities. It's not luck. It's not because they were chosen or born into privilege. It's because their inner world is so saturated with the expectation of success that the universe by law must comply. They walk with an energy that says, I am worthy of wealth. I am aligned with abundance. And life, without fail, echoes that belief through circumstances, relationships, and financial flow. On the other hand, think of those who constantly struggle with money despite endless effort. Often beneath their actions is a foundation of fear, a belief that money is hard to come by, that they are undeserving, or that wealth belongs to others, not them. And so they live out that expectation. The outer world is never the starting point. It is the end result of your persistent inner state. The most powerful shift you can make is to stop reacting to what your current bank account says and start consciously creating from within. How do you feel when you think of money? Are you anxious, resentful, desperate, or do you feel empowered, deserving, and abundant, regardless of the numbers? Your consistent emotional posture around money sends a command to life. When you dwell in lack, life mirrors lack. When you dwell in abundance, life reflects abundance. You are not at the mercy of external circumstances. You are not waiting for the economy, your job, or someone else to dictate your financial destiny. You hold that power now by shifting your inner state, by embodying the feeling of already having wealth, by thinking, speaking, and moving through life as though money is already part of your reality. Master your inner state, and your financial reality will have no choice but to rise to meet it. Feel wealthy before money shows up? The greatest misunderstanding people carry is believing that wealth is something you experience only after money arrives. But the deeper truth is that the experience of wealth begins long before physical money manifests. It starts within your consciousness, with your ability to feel, embody, and dwell in the energy of wealth, even if your current circumstances suggest otherwise. Ask yourself, what does it feel like to be wealthy? Not just in theory, but in emotion, posture, and energy. When you close your eyes and imagine your bank accounts overflowing, your debts paid, your life lived on your terms, what sensations arise? Most dismiss these feelings as fantasy, but this is the precise doorway through which abundance enters. You are not required to wait for conditions to change before you change your emotional state. In fact, life demands that you reverse this order. You must first feel wealthy before the physical evidence appears. This is not wishful thinking, it is the blueprint of manifestation. Every outcome begins in the unseen realm of imagination and emotion. The outer world simply reflects back the inner world you consistently occupy. The challenge is that most people are addicted to reacting to their current circumstances. They open their banking app, see a low balance, and immediately fall into fear, frustration, or hopelessness. They believe this emotional reaction is justified, yet they fail to see that this reaction reinforces the very condition they wish to escape. To transcend this cycle, you must train yourself to feel wealthy regardless of appearances. You must walk with the energy of abundance even when your wallet feels thin. Speak with the confidence of someone who already possesses riches, even if others around you doubt. Carry yourself with the expectation of prosperity, even when the evidence seems absent. This is not delusion, it is creative alignment. It is using the same faculties you employ to worry, fear, and doubt, but redirecting them toward empowerment, gratitude, and certainty. Think of it this way. Everything you now possess began with a thought, a belief, an assumption. Your current reality is the harvest of seeds planted long ago in your mind. If you wish to change the harvest, you must change the seeds. And the soil in which they grow is your emotional state. Feel rich now, and you plant the seed of wealth. Continue watering that seed with consistent, elevated emotion, and life will deliver the harvest in ways you may not expect, but cannot deny. Notice how those who naturally attract money often seem calm, confident, and secure, even before they achieve visible success. This is not coincidence. Their inner state of wealth preceded their outer wealth. They felt rich long before the world caught up. The same is available to you. You are not waiting for permission from money to feel wealthy. You grant yourself that permission now. You breathe in the energy of abundance now. You stand in the identity of prosperity now. And from that elevated state, life begins to rearrange itself. Opportunities unfold. Unexpected income arrives. Doors open. People appear. Because you dared to feel wealthy before the money showed up. The sequence is clear. Feeling precedes form. Embody the wealth now and watch as money by law follows. Full response to confidence, not hesitation. Confidence is an invisible currency, more valuable than most people realize. Long before money lands in your hand, confidence announces your arrival to the world. It is the energy that precedes opportunity, the silent force that signals to life itself, I am ready, I am worthy, I expect abundance. Yet, most people hesitate. They wait for visible proof before they allow themselves to feel secure. They hold back their full expression, their bold energy, because they believe wealth must show up first. But that belief keeps them stuck. Hesitation repels opportunity. The world mirrors back to you not your quiet desires, but your dominant energy. The state you carry in your body, your posture, your speech, your presence. When you hesitate, life hesitates. When you doubt, life reflects uncertainty. But when you stand firm in the energy of already having wealth, when you move with the calm authority of someone who knows their worth, the world cannot help but respond. Look at successful people. Before they became visibly rich, they often walked with an undeniable confidence, a quiet certainty that they belonged in rooms of influence, that they were destined for greatness, that money would come. They didn't wait for external validation to feel powerful. Their energy, their belief, their expectation created the conditions for money to appear. Hesitation, on the other hand, broadcasts insecurity. It whispers to the universe, I'm unsure. I don't believe I'm worthy yet. I'll only feel abundant when life proves it to me. But life doesn't work on that schedule. Your inner certainty must come first. You cannot afford to wait for circumstances to give you permission to feel empowered. You must grant yourself that permission now. Confidence is magnetic. It pulls people, opportunities, and resources toward you because it signals alignment with abundance. It is not arrogance. It is quiet assurance. It is the unwavering knowing that wealth is already part of your reality, even if the numbers haven't caught up yet. Think of your energy like a radio signal. When you hesitate, your signal is weak, scattered, full of static. But when you stand in confidence, your frequency sharpens, amplifies, and attracts the precise experiences you desire. Money flows not to those who chase it desperately, but to those who stand still in certainty, knowing it will come. Confidence reshapes how you speak about money, how you handle opportunities, how you carry yourself in every interaction. It alters your decisions. A person who believes in their inevitable wealth takes bold action, speaks with clarity, presents ideas with authority, and positions themselves for success. And life mirrors that belief. Hesitation, on the other hand, keeps you circling the same mountain of scarcity. You delay action, you play small. You reject opportunities because fear whispers that you're not ready. But the truth is, readiness begins with confidence. Not with external signs, but with the inner state of already being wealthy, in mind and spirit. The world watches your energy more than your words. Speak abundance with your posture. Carry wealth in your energy. Move as if you belong in every room, every opportunity, every financial breakthrough. Life will take notice and respond. Living from the end is the shortcut to manifestation. There's a simple but overlooked secret to creating wealth, and it's not hard work alone, nor is it luck or waiting for the right opportunity. The shortcut to manifestation is this: live from the end. What does that mean? It means you occupy right now the mental and emotional state of your desired future as though it were already here. You think from it, feel from it, speak from it, and move through life as though the outcome is certain, inevitable, already done. Most people live toward their desires. They place their goal on the horizon, always just out of reach. They say things like, one day when I'm rich, when I have more money, when life finally changes. And by doing so, they keep their desires perpetually distant, chasing them but never arriving. They approach wealth like a moving target, always in the future, never now. But to live from the end is to collapse time. It's to bring the experience of wealth into this moment, through feeling, imagination, and action. When you live from the end, you no longer ask, when will I have money? You ask, how would I feel, think, and behave if I were already wealthy now? And then you do exactly that. You embody the outcome before the evidence arrives. You speak with the ease of someone who no longer worries about bills. You carry yourself with the calm authority of someone who has options, resources, and freedom. You dwell in the emotional frequency of success, not as wishful thinking, but as a creative command to life itself. This is how manifestation accelerates. The universe responds to your state, not your words alone. When your inner world reflects the end result, the confidence, the gratitude, the expectation, the outer world has no choice but to align. Living from the end also silences doubt. You are no longer waiting for external proof to feel secure. Your certainty is rooted in your state. You bypass the limiting beliefs that say, it's hard to make money, or it'll take years. Instead, you dwell in the assumption that wealth is already woven into your reality, unfolding naturally, without struggle. Consider how actors prepare for a role. They embody the character fully, mannerisms, speech, emotions, as though they are that person. In doing so, they create a convincing reality for the audience. You must do the same with your desired life. You play the role of the wealthy version of yourself, not as pretense but as practice, until it becomes your new identity. Living from the end doesn't mean reckless spending or false displays of wealth. It means cultivating the inner experience of abundance so powerfully that life begins to reflect it back in physical form through opportunities, financial growth, and unexpected blessings. The shortcut is not in waiting for life to shift, but in becoming the version of yourself who has already arrived. Wealth is not something you chase. It's a state you enter, embody, and express. Live from the end, and the world will catch up. The money, the success, the freedom. It all begins with your willingness to act, feel, and think from your desired future as though it were your present. Stop giving power to lack and limitation. The greatest obstacle between you and the wealth you desire isn't your background, your current circumstances, or the opportunities you think you've missed. The true obstacle is the power you continuously hand over to lack and limitation. Every time you dwell on what's missing, what you don't have, what hasn't arrived, what feels delayed, you feed the very energy that keeps abundance at a distance. Most people are unaware of how deeply they worship their limitations. They speak of them daily. They rehearse them in their minds like a script they've memorized. Money doesn't come easily. The economy is against me. I never have enough. I'm always behind. Each of these statements, whether spoken aloud or silently repeated in thought, reinforces the state of lack. Understand this: your words, thoughts, and emotions are creative forces. You are not merely observing life, you are shaping it with every belief you entertain. When you give your attention, your energy, and your emotional investment to limitation, you anchor yourself to that experience. The more you focus on scarcity, the more real it becomes, not because it holds inherent power, but because you empower it. Lack is like a shadow. It appears large and intimidating only when you shine your attention upon it. Withdraw your focus, shift your state, and the shadow loses its form. But as long as you sit beneath its shade, speaking of how limited you are, how trapped you feel, how impossible wealth seems, you breathe life into scarcity. The mistake most make is believing that lack is a fact of life they cannot escape. But in truth, it is a reflection, a temporary echo of your inner state, not a permanent condition. The moment you decide to stop bowing to your limitations, stop repeating stories of struggle, stop energizing scarcity with your focus, you loosen its grip. Consider how easily people bond over shared limitations. Conversations revolve around how expensive everything is, how wages aren't enough, how hard life has become. These dialogues seem harmless, but they are rituals of reinforcement. Group affirmations of lack that plant seeds of scarcity deeper into the subconscious. But you have the power to disrupt that cycle. You can choose moment by moment where your energy flows. Will you feed limitation with your attention, or will you starve it by shifting your focus to abundance, even when it's not yet visible? It requires discipline. Your environment, your past, and even your current bank account may tempt you to dwell in limitation, but you must rise above appearances. You must remember that reality bends to the dominant state you occupy, not the fleeting conditions you observe. Start by observing your language. Catch yourself in moments where you speak of lack, where you predict struggle, where you declare limitation as your identity. Replace those words with declarations of abundance, even if they feel unfamiliar at first. Next, guard your thoughts. When fear whispers, "There's never enough," respond with certainty, "Wealth is already finding its way to me." When doubt says, "It's impossible," answer, "Everything I desire is unfolding now." Most importantly, embody the energy of someone who refuses to be defined by temporary limitation. Walk, speak, think, and live as though abundance is your natural state. As you do, the power you once gave to lack dissolves, and in its place, wealth flows with ease. Wealth is an identity you wear before you own it. Wealth isn't just a number in your bank account. It's an identity. It's a way of being, thinking, moving, and existing that precedes the arrival of money itself. Most people misunderstand this. They wait for wealth to arrive before they feel wealthy. But that approach reverses the order of creation. In truth, you must become the wealthy version of yourself long before the money appears. The world responds to your identity, not your hopes. Think of identity as the deepest layer of your self-concept. It's who you believe you are beneath the surface, beyond the temporary conditions, beyond what your current life looks like. When you adopt the identity of a wealthy person, you begin to make decisions, take actions, and emit energy that aligns with abundance. And as a result, wealth begins to materialize to match the identity you've chosen. It's not about faking success, it's about shifting who you are at the core. A person with a wealthy identity doesn't operate from desperation, fear, or scarcity. They carry a quiet confidence, an expectation that life works in their favor, that resources flow naturally, that money is a tool they command, not a mystery they chase. You can often sense this identity before it's visible in physical form. Someone may not yet be a millionaire on paper, but they move like one. They handle themselves with dignity. They approach opportunities with boldness. They engage with life as though they already belong in circles of influence, wealth, and success. And life, by its nature, reorganizes itself to reflect that inner reality. Contrast that with those trapped in the identity of lack. Even when opportunities appear, they hesitate, they downplay their worth, they expect rejection, hardship, or scarcity, and so they create self-fulfilling prophecies that keep wealth away. Their identity whispers, "I'm not wealthy," and life echoes back, "As you wish." You must understand that wealth flows to the identity you wear, not the conditions you observe. If you consistently identify as someone struggling, waiting, or falling behind, wealth feels like an impossible climb. But when you shift your identity to that of a person who already has access to abundance, doors open that once seemed locked. Begin by asking, who is the wealthy version of me? How do they think? How do they speak about money? How do they approach challenges, risks, and opportunities? How do they stand, breathe, move, and show up in the world? You don't wait for the numbers to change before you adopt this identity. You wear it now. You allow your body, your words, your actions to reflect this version of you, even in the face of temporary lack. This is not arrogance. It's alignment. It's becoming a vibrational match to the reality you desire. Wealth is not something you stumble upon by accident. It's something you magnetize through identity. You broadcast to life, "This is who I am now." And life responds with circumstances, people, and resources that mirror that self-concept. When you wear the identity of wealth, scarcity loses its grip. You no longer seek permission from the world to feel abundant. You create abundance from within. And watch as the outer world scrambles to catch up. Act now. Your bold energy commands money's arrival. Action is the bridge between the invisible world of your assumptions and the visible world of your reality. But here's where most people misunderstand the power of action. They act from desperation, fear, or lack, and as a result, their actions produce little or no change. True effective action, the kind that commands money to arrive, must be born from the state of already having what you desire. When you act from that inner certainty, your energy is bold, your presence is magnetic, and your world responds. Understand this. You are always taking action even when you hesitate, even when you procrastinate, even when you overthink. Those are actions driven by fear. But they don't produce wealth. They produce more hesitation, more scarcity, more delay. To break this cycle, you must act as if the money is already yours. Not someday, not in theory, but now. You move as the version of yourself who expects success, who believes in their inevitable abundance, who refuses to shrink in the face of temporary conditions. Think of bold energy as a declaration to the universe. When you act with certainty, with confidence, with the posture of someone who already possesses wealth, life takes notice. Opportunities reveal themselves. People are drawn to your conviction. Resources align in ways that defy logic. You are not chasing money, you are commanding it through your energy, your choices, and your unwavering belief. But most people wait. They postpone action until the perfect moment. They tell themselves, "I'll start the business when I have more savings. I'll invest when the economy improves. I'll step into my purpose when I feel ready." But life doesn't wait. Opportunities don't linger, and readiness is a product of action, not the other way around. When you act now, boldly, without waiting for conditions to look perfect, you set powerful forces into motion. Even small actions, when fueled by the energy of abundance, ripple into massive results. You make the call, you start the project, you share your ideas, you walk into the room with the energy of someone who belongs there, and suddenly doors that were once closed begin to open. Bold energy isn't reckless, it's intentional. It comes from a place of knowing, of trusting that your desires are valid, your goals are worthy, and wealth is already aligned with you. You're not forcing life to cooperate, you're cooperating with the law of your own belief. The stronger your inner state, the more powerful your actions become. Consider this: the world responds not to your hesitation, your waiting, your second guessing, but to your certainty. People invest in leaders who radiate confidence. Opportunities gravitate toward those who carry the energy of success. Money flows where boldness resides. Your current circumstances are not a barrier. They are a reflection of how boldly or timidly you've been acting. The question is, how would you move today if you knew wealth was inevitable? How would you speak? What would you pursue? Who would you connect with? What decisions would you make if money wasn't a worry but a certainty? That is the energy you must step into now, regardless of appearances. Act as if the universe has already approved your success, because energetically it has. Your belief shapes your world. Your boldness commands results. Your present actions, infused with certainty, create the conditions for money's arrival. You're not waiting for wealth. Wealth is waiting for you to step up, to act, to embody the state that pulls it into your reality. The moment you stop hesitating and start moving with bold energy is the moment life accelerates to meet you. You've been taught to believe that wealth arrives first, and then your confidence, your boldness, your freedom follow. But the truth defies that pattern. Your wealth, your success, your abundant life are not waiting in the distant future. They are waiting in your state of being right now. Your inner world, the way you think, feel, speak, and act, is the blueprint for your financial reality. Stop waiting for money to give you permission to feel worthy. Stop holding back your energy until circumstances look perfect. Begin now. Act as if you already have it. Feel the wealth within you. Carry the energy of success. The world doesn't respond to hesitation, it responds to certainty. And when you dwell in the state of abundance, when you boldly act from the end, life cannot help but rearrange itself to reflect your belief. You don't attract money by longing for it. You attract it by embodying it, by living, breathing, moving, and thinking as though it's already yours. Stop waiting for money. Act as if you have it now, and watch as the world delivers it in ways you never imagined. Imagine for a moment. What if every limitation you've ever believed about money was nothing more than an illusion? What if the struggle, the scarcity, the constant chasing were just the shadows of a mindset you've been conditioned to accept? Now, picture this. The version of you who no longer waits for wealth to arrive, the version of you who walks, speaks, breathes, and lives as though unlimited streams of money already flow effortlessly into your life. You see, the world you experience is never separate from the world within you. Every dollar that enters your reality, every opportunity, every unexpected blessing, they're all reflections of the state of mind you choose to occupy. The greatest illusion is believing you must earn the right to feel abundant. But the truth, abundance isn't something you acquire, it's something you assume. It's a state, a mental atmosphere that, once occupied, reshapes the circumstances of your life to mirror that feeling. Think about the wealthiest people on this planet. Before the homes, before the cars, before the financial freedom, there was belief. Not belief rooted in hope, but in certainty. They moved through life acting as if wealth was inevitable. And because they aligned their inner world with that truth, the outer world had no choice but to reflect it. But here's where most fall short. They wait for evidence. They wait to see the money before they believe they have it. They wait to feel rich only after the bank account grows. But the secret? It works in reverse. You must first feel rich. You must first assume the state of having unlimited money, even when your physical world shows the opposite. You must live from the outcome, not towards it. It's not about pretending in desperation. It's about embodying the certainty that you already possess what you desire. You walk with quiet confidence. You spend with the awareness that money replenishes itself. You carry yourself as the version of you who is already financially free, because when your internal world shifts, reality rearranges itself accordingly. You've been taught to believe wealth is a reward for effort, but wealth is a reflection of alignment. And alignment begins with assumption. When you act as if unlimited money is flowing to you now, you send a clear signal to the universe: this is who I am, this is my reality. And reality, being obedient, bends to your command. So the question is, are you ready to step into that version of yourself? Are you ready to act, think, and live as though wealth isn't coming, but it's already here? The choice is yours. The moment you assume the state of financial abundance, the world will conspire to prove you right. Lie from the end, assume you already have unlimited money. The greatest mistake most people make when it comes to wealth is believing they must wait for proof before they claim abundance. But those who truly understand how reality works, those who transform their lives in ways that seem impossible to others, live from the end. They do not hope, they do not wonder, they assume. They assume that what they desire is already theirs, and in doing so they call that reality into being. Living from the end means you stop seeing yourself as someone chasing wealth. You stop identifying as someone trying to make money, trying to succeed, trying to get there. You are already there. You are already the version of yourself that has wealth flowing endlessly to you. You walk differently, you speak differently, you think differently. You are not desperate for results, because in your mind the results have already happened. Picture this. Imagine you check your bank account, and it's overflowing with money beyond your expectations. You no longer calculate every penny. You no longer wonder how the bills will be paid. You feel peace. You feel certainty. That feeling, that state of being is available to you now, even before the money physically shows up. You step into the version of yourself today, and reality has no choice but to respond to your assumption. This is not about ignoring your current circumstances. It's about refusing to let them define you. Right now, your senses may show lack. Your environment may scream limitation, but your senses are servants, not masters. When you assume the state of unlimited wealth, you override the temporary with the eternal truth that everything you desire is already created, already real, already available in the unseen. Most live trapped by what they see, ruled by their present bank balance or external validation. But the world outside is slow, delayed, reactive. Your inner world is immediate, limitless, powerful. Living from the end is claiming your role as the creator, not the victim of circumstance. You are no longer a person trying to become wealthy. You are wealthy, and the external world will align to match your new identity. Let that sink in. Wealth doesn't come because you chase it. It comes because you decide it's already yours. The inner decision, the unwavering assumption, is the seed. Your thoughts water it, your actions nourish it, and soon reality bears the fruit. Acting from the end is not arrogance, it is alignment. The universe responds to certainty, not hesitation. When you walk through your day as the version of yourself who already has unlimited money flowing to you, you collapse time. You bring the unseen into the seen. You command life to reflect your assumption, and it obeys. Shift your inner conversations to wealth and abundance. Every moment of every day, you are speaking to yourself. Most of these inner conversations happen beneath awareness, thoughts whispering, doubts, fears, limitations. And here lies the secret. Your inner conversations are the blueprint of your external reality. If you want wealth, if you desire an endless stream of money flowing to you, it begins with the words you speak silently to yourself. Imagine your mind as fertile soil. Every thought, every internal dialogue is a seed. Speak of lack, doubt, and struggle, and that is the crop life delivers to your door. Speak of abundance, of success, of unstoppable wealth, and life bends to those declarations. It cannot be otherwise. Most sabotage themselves with casual, unconscious conversations. Money never stays with me. I'm always struggling. I can't afford that. These phrases may seem small, harmless, but they are orders, commands to the universe to continue your current circumstances. If you want to change what you experience, you must first change what you say to yourself. Shifting your inner conversations means becoming vigilant. You observe your thoughts like a guardian of your destiny. The moment a limiting belief arises, you interrupt it. You replace it with words that align with the wealthy version of yourself. You say, money flows to me effortlessly. I am surrounded by opportunity. Abundance is my natural state. At first, it may feel like a lie, but remember, the old story felt true only because you repeated it long enough. You do not need anyone's permission to rewrite your inner world. You hold that power. Every day, speak as though unlimited money is already flowing to you. When doubt creeps in, answer it with certainty. When fear whispers, silence it with faith in your new identity. Your inner conversations sculpt your future. What you tell yourself becomes the narrative your life must follow. And here's the truth. The universe is always listening. It responds not to your wishes, but to your consistent assumed beliefs. You may not see change overnight, but as your inner dialogue aligns with wealth, reality shifts like the tide. Subtle at first, then unstoppable. You have spoken scarcity over your life long enough. Now, speak wealth. Speak abundance. Declare silently, daily, that money flows to you without resistance. Those conversations echo into your circumstances, shaping them, molding them, until the world has no choice but to deliver what you've been declaring. This is how you create the life you desire, not by waiting, but by becoming the master of your inner world. Your wealth begins in the silence of your thoughts. Let every inner word speak abundance, and watch the external follow. Spend, speak, and move with the confidence of financial freedom. If you want the world to mirror wealth back to you, you must first carry yourself like someone who already has it. It's easy to shrink your energy when your bank account doesn't reflect the abundance you desire. It's tempting to walk timidly, to speak with hesitation, to spend with fear. But understand this, the universe responds to energy, not desperation. And wealth is drawn to those who radiate confidence, certainty, and expectation. Think of the version of yourself who has unlimited money flowing to them. Picture it clearly. How does that version walk into a room? How do they speak when opportunities arise? Do they second guess their worth? Do they hesitate when making decisions? No. They exude quiet confidence. Their words carry authority. Their posture reflects belief. Their spending reflects abundance, not scarcity. This isn't about reckless spending. It's about shifting the energy behind every action. You no longer spend money as if it's leaving you. You spend as though it's circulating, expanding, returning, multiplied. Every purchase is made with gratitude. with the unshakable belief that money replenishes itself. That's how the wealthy live, not because of the money they hold, but because of the mindset they've assumed long before it physically appeared. Words matter too. Listen carefully to how you speak about money. Do you complain? Do you use phrases like, I can't afford it, or money doesn't come easily? If so, you're reinforcing scarcity with every sentence. But when you speak as though financial freedom is your reality, the world adjusts to match your frequency. Instead of, I can't afford that, try, it's not aligned for me right now. Instead of saying money is tight, affirm, money is flowing to me in expected and unexpected ways. The energy behind your words holds power. The wealthy do not chase, they command. And that command begins with your speech. Movement matters just as much. Pay attention to your posture, your energy, your presence. Scarcity makes you small. Abundance makes you expansive. Shoulders back. Chin up. Walk with the quiet authority of someone who expects wealth to greet them around every corner. Even if your physical world hasn't caught up yet, your inner world leads and the outer follows. This is embodiment. You don't wait for unlimited money to show up before you live like the wealthy version of you. You live as though it's already here. You breathe it. You move through life grounded, certain, aligned. That energy makes you magnetic to wealth. Every action, every word, every step is a signal to the universe. You're saying, this is who I am. And life always reflects who you are, not what you want. So, be the version of you that has financial freedom. Speak abundance. Move with power. Spend with gratitude. And watch the world rise to meet your new reality. Detach from the evidence of lack around you. The most dangerous trap when manifesting wealth is allowing the current evidence of your physical world to define your belief. You check your bank account, you see the numbers, you look at unpaid bills, and your mind whispers, see, the money isn't here. And with that thought, you fall out of alignment. You return to the old state of lack, and the cycle continues. But the truth is, the physical world is delayed. It lags behind the state you occupy internally. What you see today is not the reflection of your current belief, but of your past assumptions. So when you begin to act as if unlimited money is already flowing to you, the outer world takes time to catch up. In that space of delay, many lose faith. They give in to the visible lack, reinforcing the very scarcity they wish to escape. Detachment is your greatest weapon. It is the art of seeing the current lack, but refusing to let it control your inner state. You acknowledge the unpaid bill, but you don't assign fear to it. You notice the empty bank account, but you don't dwell in limitation. You remain rooted in the state of abundance, knowing that what you see is temporary, but what you assume is eternal. Detachment isn't denial. You're not ignoring reality, you're transcending it. You understand that circumstances bend to belief, not the other way around. You hold fast to the unseen, knowing the unseen always shapes the seen. And when doubt creeps in, and it will, you remind yourself, evidence follows energy. Look at those who've built extraordinary wealth. In the beginning, their reality didn't reflect their desires, but they detached. They refused to measure their success by their current conditions. They believed in the invisible, and eventually the visible world mirrored that belief. You must do the same. You detach by shifting your focus. You fill your mind with the vision of the wealthy you. You speak abundance. You celebrate small signs of progress, even if they seem insignificant. You affirm that wealth is inevitable. regardless of what the outer world shows today. This is mastery, remaining calm, confident, and abundant, even when life appears unchanged. It's walking through lack with unwavering belief in abundance. It's holding the energy of unlimited money flowing to you, even in moments when logic says otherwise. Your circumstances are clay, and your belief is the sculptor. When you detach from the temporary, you reclaim your power. You no longer react to the world, you create it. The outer world must bow to the authority of your inner world. Detachment is how you stay in the state of wealth long enough for reality to reflect it. Feel the emotions of wealth before you see it physically. If you only allow yourself to feel wealthy when your circumstances confirm it, you're stuck in a cycle that delays abundance. True wealth creation begins with an internal shift, feeling the emotions of having unlimited money before you ever hold it in your hands. It may sound simple, but this is the most overlooked secret of those who manifest extraordinary financial freedom. You must feel it first. That's the law. You don't wait for money to appear and then celebrate. You celebrate as if the money is already flowing to you. You wake up with gratitude as though the financial breakthroughs have already arrived. You sit in peace, knowing your bank account is growing even before it does. This is how you bring unseen wealth into form. Most people live in emotional reaction to their current world. They open their banking app, see the low balance, and sink into fear. They receive a bill and anxiety takes over. But understand this, those emotions are instructions to the universe. Fear, worry, desperation, they signal lack, and life mirrors them back to you. But when you master the ability to generate the emotions of wealth, regardless of current evidence, you shift your vibration, you align with abundance, you become magnetic to the very reality you've been waiting for. Picture this clearly. How does it feel to be financially free? Not just the physical details, the deep emotions. What does peace feel like when you no longer worry about bills? What does freedom feel like when you make decisions based on desire, not limitation? What does power feel like when you know money is flowing to you endlessly? Feel those emotions now. Close your eyes if you must. Imagine the relief washing over you. Imagine the calm certainty as you make purchases. Imagine the quiet pride of providing for your loved ones without fear. Let your body experience it, not tomorrow, not next year, now. You don't need external triggers to feel wealthy. You need inner permission. When you generate the emotional state of abundance, you anchor yourself in the version of reality where wealth is inevitable. Emotions are the language of creation. They are the proof to your subconscious that your new identity is real. Most people reverse this process. They wait. They look for proof. They demand signs before they allow themselves to feel good. But wealth flows to those who lead with emotion, not those who beg for evidence. So each day, act as if unlimited money is already yours, and more importantly, feel as if it is. Even in small moments, buying coffee, walking into a store, making plans, generate the emotions of wealth. Let those feelings saturate your being. You are no longer the person who hopes for wealth. You are the person who embodies it, who feels it, who lives it, before the world has even caught up. The outer world cannot resist the power of your internal state. Feel wealthy now, and wealth becomes your reality. Gratitude is the currency of the wealthy mindset. Gratitude is not simply a polite response to receiving. It is the currency that creates more to receive. When you act as if unlimited money is already flowing to you, gratitude becomes your most powerful tool. It signals to the universe that you recognize abundance even before it appears in physical form. And what you recognize, you multiply. Most people reserve gratitude for after the fact. They say thank you when the money shows up, when the job offer comes, when the unexpected gift arrives. But this reactive gratitude keeps them in a cycle of waiting, always dependent on circumstances to feel abundant. The wealthy, however, reverse the process. They live in proactive gratitude. They give thanks for wealth not yet seen, for money not yet held, for opportunities not yet revealed. And because they align their hearts with gratitude before evidence arrives, evidence floods into their reality. Gratitude collapses time. It bridges the gap between desire and manifestation. It tells life, I already have what I desire, and life, being obedient, arranges itself to prove you right. Here's the deeper truth. When you embody gratitude, you elevate your emotional state. You break free from lack, fear, and impatience. You shift into peace, trust, and abundance. And the universe mirrors your internal reality without hesitation. But gratitude must be authentic. You cannot fake it in desperation. You must feel it as though the money is already flowing to you, as though the abundance is surrounding you, as though your financial freedom is undeniable. You must give thanks for what you have now, no matter how small, and give thanks for the unseen blessings on their way. Start each day with gratitude for your wealth. Thank life for the money already in your possession, even if it feels insignificant. Thank life for the money arriving soon, for the unexpected financial breakthroughs, for the limitless streams flowing to you. Speak it, write it, feel it. Even when challenges arise, stay anchored in gratitude. See every obstacle as temporary. See every moment as part of your unfolding abundance story. Gratitude keeps you aligned with the energy of receiving, no matter what your outer world shows. But understand this clearly, those who are grateful for little receive much. Those who resent their circumstances repel abundance. Life cannot deliver to the closed heart. Gratitude opens the door, invites wealth in, and commands reality to rearrange itself in your favor. Gratitude is not optional on the path to wealth. It is the foundation. It is how you act as if unlimited money is already flowing to you, even before your senses confirm it. And as your gratitude deepens, so too will the streams of abundance flowing your way. The world must reflect the state you occupy within. Everything you see outside of you is a reflection of the state you have accepted within yourself. This is the unbreakable law of creation. The money in your bank account, the opportunities you encounter, the experiences you live, all of it begins in the unseen world of your mind and emotions. You cannot escape this truth. You can only learn to master it. When you act as if unlimited money is already flowing to you, you're not playing a game of make-believe. You're aligning your internal state with a version of reality where abundance is inevitable. You are shifting your energy, your focus, your identity to match the outcome you desire. And the world, being obedient, must reflect that shift. This is why you've seen people rise from nothing to extraordinary wealth. They didn't wait for their environment to change before they believed. They believed first. They occupied the state of wealth mentally, emotionally, spiritually, long before the evidence appeared. And because they lived from that state, the outer world had no choice but to align. Understand this. Reality is not fixed. It bends, reshapes, and reforms itself around your dominant state. If you dwell in lack, scarcity, and fear, your world mirrors that. But when you dwell in abundance, wealth, and certainty, life reflects those qualities too. It's not personal, it's universal law. Many misunderstand this process. They observe their circumstances, maybe low finances, unpaid bills, financial stress, and they say, "This is who I am." But your circumstances are merely echoes of your past states. They are not the definition of your potential, nor the limits of what you can create. If you want to see wealth in your world, you must first be wealthy in your mind. You must hold the state of financial freedom regardless of your environment. You must think, feel, speak, and act as though money is already flowing to you endlessly. And as you consistently occupy that state, reality reshapes itself to fit your inner identity. Think of life as a mirror. You do not stand in front of a mirror frowning, expecting your reflection to smile. Yet that is what most people do with money. They project worry, lack, and doubt, and wonder why abundance evades them. But when you project certainty, gratitude, and confidence, the mirror reflects those qualities back to you. This requires discipline. You must catch yourself when you slip into old patterns, when you start complaining about money, fearing the future, doubting your worth. In those moments, you gently but firmly return to the state of abundance. You remind yourself, I am the version of me that has unlimited money flowing to me now. The more you live from that state, the more inevitable your financial transformation becomes. The world must reflect the state you occupy within. It cannot resist that alignment. It does not happen overnight, but it happens without fail. Stay in the state of wealth, and the world will shape itself to match your belief. So now the truth is in your hands. The truth that everything you desire, especially the wealth and financial freedom you've been chasing, is not something outside of you, it's something within you, waiting to be assumed, embodied, and claimed. When you act as if unlimited money is already flowing to you, you do more than pretend. You command the universe to rearrange itself. You stop living in reaction to lack and you start living as the version of yourself who already has it all. You've learned to live from the end. You've shifted your inner conversations to wealth and abundance. You spend, speak, and move with the confidence of financial freedom. You detach from the current evidence of lack, knowing it's temporary. You feel the emotions of wealth before the world shows it. You anchor your life in gratitude, the greatest currency of all, and you occupy the inner state of abundance, knowing reality has no choice but to reflect it. The choice is yours now. You can continue to wait for the world to give you permission to feel wealthy, or you can act as if the wealth is already yours, and watch as the world bends, reshapes, and delivers every desire to your doorstep. The world responds to your assumption, money responds to your certainty, and your life transforms the moment you decide to believe it already has. Act as if, embody abundance, and unlimited money will flow to you because it was always meant to. There is a hidden force shaping your life right now. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But you live under its influence every single day. That force is your state of being. And the truth is, the life you're experiencing right now, your money, your success, your opportunities, they are not controlled by the economy, your background, your education, or luck. They are controlled by the state you habitually live in. And here's where most people get trapped. They believe they need to wait for evidence before they change their state. They think, when I have more money, then I'll feel wealthy. When I get the promotion, then I'll act confident. When my dreams come true, then I'll finally believe it's possible. But that's backwards. Life doesn't respond to who you want. Life responds to who you are being. The wealthy version of you is not waiting for permission. That version of you is not standing around hoping someone else will hand over the keys to abundance. That version of you lives, thinks, walks, and breathes with the certainty that riches already belong to them. They don't beg the universe, they command it through their state of being. Understand this. The universe is not an outside force deciding your fate. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back the assumptions you hold about yourself. If you assume lack, scarcity, and limitation, life will show you situations that confirm those assumptions. But if you assume abundance, wealth, and limitless prosperity, life must reflect that back to you, because the universe cannot contradict the energy you embody. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how confident, wealthy people carry themselves? Even before they were rich, their energy, their posture, their mindset, everything about them screamed abundance. They didn't wait for money to feel wealthy. They felt wealthy first, and the money followed. That's not coincidence. That's the law of creation in motion. And here's the bold truth. When you dare to live as if you're already rich, the universe has no choice but to deliver. It's not magic. It's not superstition. It's alignment. You become aligned with wealth mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and the physical world adjusts to match the new frequency you radiate. But most people never take that leap. They let fear dictate their state. They wait for circumstances to improve before they change how they feel. But circumstances are not the cause, they are the effect. If you want to be rich, you must feel rich now. You must think, speak, and act like wealth is already flowing to you. Because when your state changes, your reality has no option but to rearrange itself in response. Living as if you're already rich doesn't mean reckless spending or pretending. It means becoming wealth in your mind, your emotions, and your energy. You don't need proof to feel abundant. You create the proof by embodying abundance first. The moment you choose to shift your state, to walk like someone with limitless resources, to think like someone with overflowing abundance, to speak like someone whose future is secure, the universe listens, and it must deliver, because your internal world always writes the script for your external life. So today, right now, decide to live as if you're already rich. Not tomorrow, not when the bank account looks different. Now. And watch as life bends to the power of your assumption. Your state creates your reality. You are living in a world of reflections. Most people believe their life is shaped by hard facts, by what they can see, touch, or measure. But if you look closer, you will realize that everything in your external world is a mirror of your internal state. Your finances, your relationships, your opportunities, and your struggles. They are not random. They are the echo of who you are being beneath the surface. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for life to change so they can feel different. They think once I have more money, I'll feel secure. Once I get the job, I'll feel confident. Once success comes, I'll finally relax. But life doesn't operate like that. You don't wait for external change to alter your state. You alter your state, and the external change follows. Everything begins with your state of being. Your state is the vibration you live in, the emotional, mental, and energetic posture you carry throughout the day. When you walk through life carrying lack, fear, and self-doubt, you unintentionally instruct the universe to deliver more of those experiences. But when you walk in abundance, confidence, and certainty, as though your desires are already yours, the universe has no choice but to comply. You've already experienced this, whether you realize it or not. Think back to a time when you felt unstoppable. Maybe you just received good news, landed an opportunity, or had a breakthrough. In that state, you carried yourself differently. Your energy was magnetic. Your thoughts were elevated, and people responded to you in a positive way. The external world mirrored your internal state. The key is learning to generate that state from within without waiting for circumstances to improve. You don't need proof to step into wealth. You need faith in your own creative power. When you adopt the state of being rich, even before the money arrives, you tune your energy to the frequency of abundance, and reality begins to mold itself around that new vibration. It's like tuning a radio. If you want to hear music playing on 100.7 FM, you can't keep your dial on 89.5 and expect to hear it. You must align your frequency. The same principle applies to life. To live in wealth, you must embody wealth mentally and emotionally, even if your senses show you the opposite. When you master this, life transforms. You'll notice opportunities appear effortlessly, people treat you differently, and circumstances shift to match the new version of yourself. You'll realize you were never a victim of fate. You were the creator of your experience all along. The state you choose to occupy becomes the blueprint for your reality. And when you live in the state of already being rich, the universe reflects that truth right back to you. The universe mirrors your assumptions. The universe is not judging you, it's not testing you, it's responding to the assumptions you hold in the quiet of your mind. Every thought you repeat, every belief you cling to, every emotion you entertain sends a silent signal, a command to the universe, and the universe responds not to your wishes, but to your dominant assumptions. Assumptions are powerful. They are the unseen architects of your life. If you assume wealth is difficult, life will show you struggle. If you assume money flows easily, life bends to that truth. It doesn't matter what's happening around you right now. What matters is the story you tell yourself internally, because that story becomes your experience. Many people unknowingly live in a state of lack because their assumptions are rooted in limitation. They believe success is reserved for others. They believe money is hard to come by. They assume they're not worthy of riches. And the universe, like an obedient servant, reflects those beliefs back in the form of lack, obstacles, and missed opportunities. But the moment you shift your assumptions, you shift your world. When you begin to assume wealth is your natural state, when you assume abundance is inevitable, when you assume you are already rich in the unseen realm, the universe starts to rearrange itself. People, situations, and resources align with your new inner reality. This is why it's not enough to wish for wealth. Wishing implies distance, separation, and uncertainty. But when you assume you already possess riches, even if unseen, you collapse the gap between desire and reality. Your assumptions become the cause, and the external world becomes the effect. Think of your mind like fertile soil. Your assumptions are the seeds you plant. If you sow seeds of scarcity, you reap scarcity. If you plant seeds of abundance, wealth grows naturally. You can't expect a harvest of riches if your inner dialogue contradicts it. You must discipline your mind to assume only the outcomes you desire. It takes courage to assume wealth when your senses say otherwise. But that's the true power of creation. You don't manifest by reacting to life. You manifest by creating life from within. Your assumptions mold your reality like clay in your hands. And when you boldly assume you're already rich, the universe echoes back in perfect agreement. Acting as if is the gateway to manifestation. There's a subtle yet profound secret that separates those who struggle endlessly from those who seem to manifest effortlessly. And that secret is the art of acting as if. It is not pretense. It is not make-believe. It is the bold decision to embody the version of yourself who already possesses everything you desire long before the physical evidence shows up. Most people are trapped in the waiting game. They postpone their happiness, their confidence, their sense of worth, telling themselves they'll feel different when life hands them proof. But this waiting only extends the delay, because the universe is not responding to your desires, it is responding to your dominant state. To act as if means to live today as the wealthy, abundant, successful version of yourself. It means to think, speak, and behave in alignment with your desired reality, even when your five senses seem to contradict it. And it's in this defiance of circumstance that your true power awakens. Consider how someone who already has wealth carries themselves. Their posture reflects certainty. Their decisions come from confidence. Their words are spoken with the authority of someone who knows resources are abundant and opportunities are endless. They don't shrink back. They don't operate from fear. Their entire energy field radiates assurance. You are not excluded from this power. You don't need to wait for money to flow to begin thinking, speaking, and acting from that state. You don't need to see proof before you shift your posture, your mindset, your energy. In fact, it's the opposite. The moment you act as if you already possess wealth, the universe starts to reflect that back in tangible ways. This is where so many fall short. They hesitate, worried about what others will think. They believe acting as if is fake or dishonest. But the truth is, reality itself is shaped by unseen forces. Thoughts, beliefs, feelings. You are not lying to yourself by living from your future state. You are commanding life to catch up with the truth you've chosen. When you walk like someone who is abundant, you trigger internal confidence. When you speak like someone who knows their worth, you emit energy that attracts respect and opportunities. When you think like someone whose success is inevitable, life conspires to match that conviction. Acting as if is not about reckless behavior, it's about alignment. You don't go spend money you don't have to feel rich. You cultivate the internal experience of wealth, the gratitude, the assurance, the belief. And from that internal place, your external actions flow naturally. Your imagination becomes your greatest ally here. Visualize your wealth. Feel the freedom of financial security. Picture the life you desire as though it already exists. Then carry that energy into your daily actions. The more you live from that future reality, the faster it becomes your present. Life does not resist your commands, it mirrors your consistency. When you master the state of acting as if you are already rich, the universe orchestrates the details to bring your inner world into physical form. That is the gateway to manifestation. Thoughts and emotions are the true currency. The most valuable currency you possess is not money, gold, or possessions. It is your thoughts and emotions, because they are the building blocks of your reality. You can chase wealth endlessly, but if your inner dialogue contradicts abundance, you will remain stuck in cycles of frustration. But when your thoughts and emotions align with prosperity, the universe has no choice but to deliver it. Every thought you entertain emits a frequency, like a silent broadcast to the universe. Every emotion you hold generates energy that magnetizes experiences into your life. This is not abstract theory. It is the unseen law governing your existence. The quality of your thoughts and feelings shapes the quality of your world. Most people believe their emotions are reactions to external events. Something happens, they feel a certain way. But in truth, your emotions are also creators. They are shaping the next set of events, the next opportunities, the next outcomes. When you understand this, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being a master of reality. If you consistently think thoughts of lack, there's never enough, money is hard, success isn't for me, those thoughts generate emotions like fear, doubt, and unworthiness. Those emotions lower your frequency, and you attract experiences that validate those beliefs. It becomes a self-fulfilling cycle of limitation. But when you deliberately think thoughts of abundance, wealth flows to me, I am worthy, money comes easily, those thoughts create emotions of confidence, joy, and certainty. Those emotions elevate your vibration, and life begins to organize itself to reflect that abundance back to you. This is why wealth begins in the unseen realm. You can manipulate external actions all day, but if your internal currency is contaminated with fear and scarcity, the results will reflect that. But when your inner dialogue and emotional state vibrate with the frequency of prosperity, external circumstances transform to match. Your mind is like a garden. You cannot plant weeds of doubt and expect flowers of abundance. You must discipline your thinking, nurturing only the seeds of wealth, success, and freedom. And as you do, your emotions align, your energy rises, and your reality begins to shift. Emotion is the fuel behind manifestation. It is not enough to mechanically repeat affirmations. You must feel them. Feel the joy of financial security. Feel the pride of achievement. Feel the excitement of opportunities unfolding. When your emotions match your desires, you create a magnetic field that draws those desires toward you. You already hold the true currency that shapes your life. Thoughts are the blueprint, emotions are the fuel, and reality is the end product. When you master these inner resources, the universe becomes your obedient partner, delivering wealth, success, and prosperity in response to your internal state. Money follows identity, not the other way around. One of the greatest misconceptions in life is the belief that money changes you. People imagine that once they have wealth, they'll feel powerful, worthy, secure. But the reality is the opposite. Money doesn't create identity. Identity creates money. Your outer world, your finances, your opportunities, your success is nothing more than a reflection of the self-image you carry within. Think of the wealthiest individuals you know of, whether in business, entertainment, or innovation. Long before the world recognized them as wealthy, they saw themselves that way internally. They carried a mental picture, an unshakable self-concept that aligned with abundance. And that internal identity became the magnet for their external success. Your identity is the foundation upon which all your experiences are built. If you identify as someone who struggles, life will validate that. If you identify as someone who lacks opportunities, life will echo that limitation. But the moment you shift your identity to that of a wealthy, capable, abundant individual, the universe begins to reorganize itself to match. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Acting, thinking, and feeling like someone who is already rich is not about faking it. It's about stepping into your true nature as a creator. You are not here to chase wealth endlessly. You are here to embody the version of yourself that naturally attracts it. When you wake up each day and reinforce the identity of a wealthy person, your thoughts, decisions, and behaviors begin to transform. You approach challenges differently. You seize opportunities with confidence. You carry yourself with certainty. And life responds to that frequency. Consider this: people often sabotage wealth because their identity isn't prepared for it. You've heard the stories. Lottery winners lose everything. Overnight successes collapse under pressure. Why? Because their self-image didn't match the wealth they suddenly received. The outer abundance couldn't last because the inner identity was still rooted in lack. To create lasting wealth, you must become wealthy in identity first. That means speaking to yourself as someone who deserves success. It means visualizing yourself as already abundant. It means carrying the posture, energy, and mindset of someone who lives in financial freedom. You can't trick the universe with surface-level actions. The deeper programming, the self-position you hold, determines your results. And the beautiful truth is, you have the power to rewrite that identity at any moment. You don't need to wait for proof. You decide within who you are, and life conforms to that decision. Money follows identity. When you embody the state of being rich, When your inner world reflects abundance, the outer world must align. Opportunities, ideas, resources, they all flow to the version of you that matches wealth in identity. That is the natural order of creation, the power of inner conversations. You are always talking to yourself. Every moment of the day, beneath the noise of the world, there's an ongoing conversation happening within you. It shapes your beliefs, your emotions, your expectations, and ultimately your reality. Few people understand the true power of this inner dialogue, yet it holds the key to your wealth, success, and transformation. Your inner conversations are not mere thoughts. They are instructions to the universe. They are the blueprint by which your subconscious mind constructs your life. When your inner dialogue is saturated with limitation, I can't afford that. Money is hard to make. Success is for others. The universe obediently reflects those beliefs back to you. But when your inner conversations shift to reflect abundance, wealth flows to me, I am worthy of riches, money finds me easily, you rewrite the script of your life. You begin to carry the energy, the confidence, the certainty of someone who already lives in prosperity. The most successful people don't wait for external proof to speak differently to themselves. They program their inner world with thoughts of abundance long before the physical evidence appears. And by doing so, they change their vibration, their actions, and the opportunities they attract. Your mind is listening to you. Every silent affirmation, every casual thought, every mental image shapes the narrative you live by. If your inner conversations are rooted in scarcity, you cannot expect abundance to bloom. But when your self-talk aligns with wealth, the seeds of prosperity begin to sprout. This is why it's not enough to simply visualize success or repeat affirmations mechanically. You must engage your inner dialogue consistently, deliberately, and with conviction. You must speak to yourself as someone who already possesses what they desire. That repetition impresses your subconscious, which influences your emotions, decisions, and external reality. Most people sabotage their manifestations because they allow their inner conversations to contradict their desires. They visualize wealth for a few moments, then spend the rest of the day thinking in lack, speaking in fear, doubting their worth, and so their results remain unchanged. To harness the power of inner conversations, you must become vigilant. Notice the words you whisper to yourself throughout the day. Are they building your wealth identity or reinforcing your limitations? The more your inner dialogue aligns with abundance, the faster your reality transforms. Imagine waking up each morning and deliberately feeding your mind with conversations of success. Imagine falling asleep at night with mental images of wealth, freedom, and fulfillment. When your inner world is saturated with these thoughts, your energy shifts, your confidence rises, and the universe responds. You are always creating through your inner dialogue. Make it intentional. Speak as the wealthy version of yourself. Think like the abundant soul you are, and watch as your life reflects the conversations you've chosen to entertain. Live now as the person you want to become. There is a great lie that society teaches you, the lie that you must wait. Wait for more money, wait for better circumstances, wait for someone to open a door for you. But the truth is, the life you dream of is not waiting for your conditions to change. It is waiting for you to change. You cannot become wealthy by waiting for wealth to arrive. You become wealthy by stepping into the role of someone who already has it. You live now as the person you want to become. That is the secret that turns invisible desires into physical reality. Your external world is like clay. It molds itself around the structure of your inner state. If you see yourself as struggling, small, or limited, life will reflect that image. But when you decide to live now, in this moment, as the version of you who has already achieved success, the universe begins to reconfigure itself to align with your new identity. It begins with simple, powerful shifts. Carry yourself with a posture of confidence. Speak with the authority of someone who knows resources are flowing. Think with the boldness of a person whose future is secure. This is not wishful thinking. It is conscious creation. Most people sabotage themselves by delaying their alignment. They say, when I get the money, then I'll feel successful. When I land the opportunity, then I'll carry confidence. When life proves I'm worthy, then I'll believe it. But life is responding to the state you live in now, not the state you hope to reach later. You must live from the end. Imagine the feeling of financial freedom. Imagine the ease, the gratitude, the joy that comes from knowing you have more than enough. Embody that feeling now, not someday. Your emotions are the signal. Your thoughts are the blueprint. Your identity is the foundation. And reality has no choice but to mirror what you consistently live. The most powerful creators in history mastered this. They didn't wait for evidence. They generated belief from within. They lived, spoke, walked, and acted as if success was already theirs. The world adjusted to the certainty of their energy. So who are you waiting to become? The wealthy version of you, the abundant version, the unstoppable version. They are already within. The moment you choose to live from that identity, you collapse time. You dissolve the illusion of separation between where you are and where you want to be. You are not here to chase your dreams endlessly. You are here to align with them now, to live as though they've already manifested, and to trust that the universe will fill in the details. Your job is to maintain the state. The universe's job is to deliver the form. When you live now as the person you want to become, life reorganizes around your decision. Your assumptions shape reality. Your identity precedes results. Your inner state commands the world to reflect your desires. And the moment you live from your future self becomes your present. The universe does not reward hesitation. It responds to certainty. The wealth, success, and freedom you desire are not outside of you, waiting for permission to appear. They are waiting for you to claim them within. To live now as if you are already rich, as if abundance is your natural state. When you dare to embody that truth, the universe has no choice but to deliver. Your thoughts, emotions, identity, and inner dialogue create your reality. Live now from the end, and reality will catch up to your decision. That is the law, that is the power, and that is your invitation to rise.